Sonic Supreme price is confirmed. The Unico Traveler is revealed. A new 32-inch vertical cabinet in Evercade is finally going big. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Another episode of This Week, the show where we talk about what happened this week in home arcade and retro gaming, episode 231. Thank you, everybody, so much for stopping by and hanging out with me on this glorious Sunday night. I got so much done this weekend. I feel so very accomplished. Many things were checked off the list. Progress was made on all the cabinets that keep piling up on in the arcade shop. I've got, obviously, Blitzes in there. And I did sell California Speed. So that is gone off to a new home. I made a good buddy, good friend. He left me his email address, so I got to send him a bunch of links for websites that I use because he's just getting back into this. So it's really exciting to kind of meet up with somebody who's getting back into the hobby for sure and kind of getting acquainted to the new stuff that's out there. So I made some progress on Blitz. I got a new cabinet in. This is for our buddy Ezekiel, the Chicago Retro Ranger. He bought another Big Blue. Shocking. I know. The guy's probably got the biggest collection of Big Blue cabinets on the planet, at least in the U.S. And so I'm excited to be working on this one for him. I'm going to wait and talk about the game that he's going to want to put in it. Going to do a video probably. I'd like to do a video of the whole project and when we get it all wrapped up. So that may take a little while to come out, but I'm excited when you see pictures on my Instagram or in a community post of a Big Blue. That's who it is. It's not mine. I didn't buy it. I just get the pleasure of working on it. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to work with Ezekiel and see what he wants to do with this thing and put all the pieces and parts together. It's going to be a lot of fun. Also made some waves or made some headway in the arcade. I've got, you can't see it. It's not lit up right now. Gran Turismo is not 100% complete, but it's very close. And got a PS5. Need a good internet connection, and the Wi-Fi down here just doesn't quite cut it down here in the pit. So ran some Ethernet cables, and I have two Ethernet outlets on this wall now. So I'm going to be able to plug in the Raiden cabinet. I can plug in my Metamorphic Force cabinet that is equipped with the Buy Stuff mod, and you can plug that in and give multiplayer a shot, give it a try with good, super fast internet. At least it's the best that I could possibly hope for. So I'm excited to get that all wrapped up. A couple other things that I did. Continuing in the vein of, mourning the loss of physical media that's going to eventually happen, I went and picked up another disk drive. Guys, you might want to think about this if you've got a PS5. Have an extra one on hand to sort of future-proof yourself. If your drive does die and they're not going to be making these things anymore, and get them before the price just jacked up, ridiculous. So I have two consoles, two PS5s. They both have disk drives, so I've got those two disk drives, my backup, and I'm done with modern gaming. I'm not getting a PS6. I think I'm done with that. Of course, I'm talking about something I have no idea what it is yet. It could maybe take some different form or something, but I'm done as far as I can tell, and I'm sticking with physical media for sure moving forward. And so, future-proof yourself. Go ahead and pick up an extra drive just to put it in your stockpile, to put it in your parts cage, your parts room, because the PS5 is kind of perfect for that last console that plays the physical media, all the PS4 disc and PS5 discs. So make sure you're good to go for the foreseeable future. And a good way to kind of kick off Sunday night and kick starting the work week is to have a drink. And we need it for some of the stuff that we're all going through tonight. I've got a drink in my hand, and we're switching. No more old fashions for a little while. We're going back to bourbon. Bullet Bourbon, old standby, was on sale this week. Had to pick up some other things, and I thought I would go conservative with my bourbon. Everybody, cheers to another week in the books. A lot of things to talk about, a lot of topics tonight, but one of them I have to have your input on, and that is in the poll question. The poll question every single week is running live. If you're in the live chat, you can vote tonight talking about that price point on that Supreme cabinet, I want to know. I think I've asked this question a couple different ways, but here is where we're at. We know what the price is going to be. We're going to talk about that a little later on in the show. So here's the question for you tonight: what is the most you would pay for the Sonic Supreme? We know what the price is. We'll talk about it later. What is the most you would pay? Looking at it, knowing what you get, knowing what you got. And if you're not sure, wait, don't vote on it just yet. We'll talk about it later on in the show. But I gave you 4 options. $5.99. This is the max price you would pay. Okay, the most you would pay. $4.99. Maybe if it, $100 goes off and you consider it. $3.49. I went to $3.49 because that's what the WrestleFest cab dropped down to, Sam's Club. Or the fourth option is would not buy at any price. I got to have that in there for all the people that just aren't interested at all. And I think there's a lot of people that are. But I am curious about the people that maybe would consider it, because there is some modding potential. You're getting a cabinet with a 19-inch monitor. At what point would you say, yeah, I think I'll buy it and I'll use it in my project? What is that price? Let me know in the live chat right now. 80 votes. It's kind of going the way I thought. It's kind of good, but it's a decent spread. So vote. Let your voice be heard. Don't be left out of the conversation. Vote, vote, vote. Members, we're going to have an after show. We did not have one last week. I apologize. Members are going to be automatically redirected to the after show after this show. That's why I call it the after show. It's a clever name. It took me a long time to get that one down. Okay, so enough of that. Enough of me. We got to talk to you. We got to talk about the best comments of the night, the ones that come in first, the top 10, the best 10, the first 10 comments. Going to go ahead and kick this off right now. And thank God, we have all the comments right here. Nothing's left. Okay, we got Atheist of the North. 159 is coming in the number 1 spot. Thank you so much for being here, my UK brother, as always. Hey, Fox, hope you had a great anniversary. I did. Had a good time. We're picking up a couple of CRT TVs tomorrow. One is unused. One of them is brand new. 20 euros for the pair. Very nice. I salute you. Hell of a pickup. Good job. Also, keep your shirt on tonight. Rosie gets overexcited. Well, I can't make that promise. Anything can happen. But yeah, I'm keeping the shirt on. I'm keeping the shirt on. And there she is, the ravishing Retro Rosie. How are you, my dear? Coming in the number 2 spot. Hi, famous Mr. Fox and friends. Good to see you, as always. Nova Sonic, my friend, coming in the number 3 spot. What's going on, brother? Happy Sunday, Fox. Today, I'm seeing The Mandalorian and Grogu for the 3rd time. Most people hate on it, but it was a fun time. It reminded me of the original trilogy. When are you seeing it? I'm not going to see it. The newest season of X-Men 97 is out. Once the whole season is out, I'll probably pick up Disney Plus for a month and watch all that. And then I might watch. I mean, I know people hating on it, but they said it was just kind of boring, and that's not terrible, not the worst thing in the world, right? We have coming in number 4 spot is going to be My Cockharts is also here. Hope you have a great show. I wonder what the price range will be on the Traveler unit. Interesting. What will that price point be? Dan Z is going to take number 5 spot. What's going on, buddy? Good to see you as always. Saying hi to everybody. Scrolling on down. Man, you guys are having a great conversation back and forth. Lots of, oh my goodness, we have foreign currency in the chat. Fox, Retro Rosie really wants you to send her to the pit. Listen, I do not discriminate based on sex here. So if, man, woman, or child, the first one of the night, you know where you're going. Just to the pit.
Finish him. Melina wins. Flawless victory. Fatality.
Sure, she'll be just fine, because it's a cartoon pit. It's not a real pit. Coming in the number 7 spot is going to be Ganja Gaming. What is going on, buddy? Good to see you as always with the smoke emojis. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Dan Z, you got beat to the punch, buddy, but I'm going to let you have it because, listen, the pit welcomes all. The pit welcomes everyone. And, there's room for more than just one.
Finish him. Melina wins. Flawless victory. Fatality.
I hit the wrong button. Go back to the comments, buddy. There we go. Thank you, Dan, as always, supporting the channel. I do appreciate it. With another $2 super chat. Someone help me. I'm still alive, but very badly burnt. Really? I think I know which I'm. You know what? I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Finish him! Scorpion wins. Fatality.
I'm sure he'll be fine. He'll be just fine. He can walk it off. Coming in the number 8 spot is going to be Kevin Clausen. What's going on, buddy? Good to see you. I can't answer the poll because I wouldn't be willing to buy a Sonic cabinet. I made that correction just for you. You're absolutely right. There was a typo in the first poll question. It's up. It's now. It's live. And it is just for you. Pick number 4. That's what most people are doing. MT Ski Bammer, MTS. MT Skabammer. Skabammer? Sure. What's going on, buddy? You're going to take the number 9 spot. And thank you so much for being here. I'd buy a Sonic cheap to make it in something. That's why I wanted to have some options. Because, yeah, I think a lot of people would say, you know what? Yeah, I could go with a 2-player, supreme size, make it something else, make it something special, make it Street Fighter. I don't know, whatever you want. So there are those people out there that would give it a shot if the price was low enough. And coming in the number 10 spot, the coveted 10 spot is going to be JJ. Good evening, 19K Fox and friends in the chat. Looking forward to the show. I think 350 or even 300 would be an instant buy for the Sonic Cap. Absolutely. And yeah, this is me saying I'm sorry I messed up the poll. A little bit of a typo in the last option, so I want to make sure that that is corrected. Yeah, so we got the Israel Gaming's also here, a member of the channel. Thank you so much for being here, my brother, my friend. Video Game Vegas is also here. Mike Hawkhurts, again, saying hi. Kings of Cobra, always good to see you, my friend. B. Kirby, what is going on, Bob? How you doing? How's that basement coming along? Have you filled it back up with arcades? I want to know. Send a picture, buddy. Milkman Classic is also here. Jason, Mod Like a Mofo. As always, 3 hours until showtime. Be sure to grab yourself a fresh haircut and look presentable. Hippie. He's talking to me. John Fritz is also here. I'm like, my hair's fine. We got the real Zim, and we got me, 19K Fox. This is the pinned comment tonight. It is a link to Gaming Menace's video. We're going to talk about Evercade a little bit later. That's the video you want to watch after this show to get the full context of what's going on. I'm not going to show his video or play his video. I want him to get the views. So go check that out after this show. The full answer was pretty interesting. Stanzy B is also here. Stock Jock, what's going on, young man? Good to see you as always. James, mildly annoyed at something, is also here. Sales got the door, and 7:30 p.m. on a Sunday. Somebody's not going to be happy. Imagine it's a guy that names himself hates everything. Alan Arcade, 1978, great year. Always good to see you, Mark. How the hell are you, sir? Good to see you as always. A Tran Fanatic, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you. No job yet, but the GTP is still running great. Good. Count your blessings. Name them one by one. Joe Cade, what's going on, man? Good to see you. We got Fat Hog. What's going on, buddy? How the hell are you? Sup, all you no, you are beautiful, my friend. Let's get flipping dangerous. You're damn right. We will tonight. Or we'll just drink heavily and talk about how we could get dangerous if it wasn't for my bum knee or my back or the shoulder. If the shoulder was right, I tell you what, I would be all kinds of dangerous. Provolone Joe is also here. JJ, Chris Ford. Cancer Biscuit? Change your name. ST50 is also here. We got Sir Sega is in the house. Eddie, 3911. Great to see you, man. Always good to see you. And we got a $10 super chat from Mark Gainey. Thank you so much for being here, buddy, and gifting the channel $10. Hey, Fox, watching the show and unpacking as I get ready for a riveting course. Oh, I can't. Oh, hosted by Uncle Sam in beautiful Fort Leavenworth. Uh-oh. What'd you do, sir? What'd you do? That's not good. We couldn't take the game room with, unfortunately. Yeah, hopefully you're not being locked up. Hopefully you're just there. Maybe you're gonna be participating in it. You're gonna be subject to this riveting course. Oh my God. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to make things any better at all. But you know what? What if Orchid, gave you a little attention? See, she just beats the pain right away. She replaces your emotional pain with physical pain. It all makes sense if you don't think about it. Always. Jay Pace is also here. Angelo, great to see you, man. Long time supporter of the channel. Good to see you, man. Hey, little alien, you just gifted 5 memberships. I appreciate it. You 5 are going to be joining us for the after show tonight. We got MSU Rich. We got that once again, a very good name. Let's get flipping dangerous. I think I have said hello to most of you. Michael B coming in late. Your camera looks fantastic. Look at that bokeh. Thanks, man. What's bokeh? What is he talking about? I don't know what he means. Because I'm mildly I want that Raiden bar top. Let me get that video out to you. You got to look at the video before you make your decisions. We got to get some pricing. They've got to make a few changes, but there are some things to love about this, especially there's some things to like about it. There's some things to love about it if you love Raiden, for sure. Can't wait to get that video out for sure. Brooklyn Menace, Gaming Menace, good to see you. Your video is linked. Good to see you, man. Thank you for breaking that story. Saiyan Spirits, Super Saiyan Spirits. Good to see you, man. Okay, I think that's I've said hi to the majority of you. Oh, here we go. We got the official T.O. Rex. Official T.O. Rex. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Absolutely. I always mess this up. I always mess up your name. Ardithby? Yeah, Ardithby. Ardithby? 4165? I've got to be close, right? I've got to be getting close. Sathius is also here. Good to see you, man. And I think we've got once again, Cancer Biscuit. Stop. Change it. That's horrible. That's a horrible name. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Hey, Mr. Faust. Good to see you. That's my nephew. He's great. He's good people. He's great people. Okay, so we got everybody here. Listen, take a second, vote in the poll. If you're not sure exactly what we're talking about or what the price is going to be, we'll talk about all the specifics of the cab just a little bit later. Right now, go ahead and grab your drink, sit back, relax, and slide into the first topic. Got to take a stiff drink because I have an update. This is not one of the main topics. We're going to cover this really quickly this week or last week. Last week? Sure. I posted something about Neo Geo and a Metal Slug and a new game potentially coming out. And I was really excited. And on the 9th, we were going to get the answer to that. And we got the answer to that. Pixel Lovin' Games, I think, or Pixel Love Games. I don't like the game that they didn't bring to us because they didn't bring us a game. Well, they didn't bring us a video game. All of us that were hoping for some kind of Metal Slug remake or a new game in the series, well, we're not getting that. We're getting a board game. Pixin Love Games is bringing us a board game for Metal Slug. That's very disappointing. Now, if you love Metal Slug and you like playing games and this is something maybe you want to add to your collection, knock yourself out, I guess. But you can only imagine the comment section on that tweet or post on X. It's not going well. It's not going well at all. No one is excited about that, and everyone is disappointed. That's what happens when you kind of lead with this assumption, or I guess you lead with, hey, big announcement coming, and so you're planting some seeds, and the expectations are just off the map whenever you talk about a storied franchise, anything Neo Geo really, and you talk about that anniversary, and you're a game company. Oh, people think that maybe there's some kind of game coming. Didn't have one. So if you wanted a board game about Metal Slug, you're in luck. For everybody else on the planet, we're not happy. We're not happy. Kind of sad. It is what it is. Let's move on to the actual first topic. And that is, of course, Unico. And they're bringing out a Traveler. That's right. They're bringing out, we'll go ahead and play the launch trailer, which has no audio. I'm not sure why. But this was the launch trailer for a new monitor housing, for you to enjoy some of your retro gaming on. And it's, to me, is kind of a mixed bag. So anyway, here's the trailer. There you go. Check it out. It's basically a little LCD monitor inside of a box. I do like, let me scroll back here. Let me pause the video and let's see if we can get, nope, I said pause right there. That's kind of cool. I mean, if you're gonna have this big box, what do you do with with all the other space? Well, you make it a storage compartment for your retro console. So that is kind of cool. So it's interesting. They're doing some things with it, but I'm not super jazzed about it. This is more of a home arcade channel here. I'm more into the home arcade offerings from them, so I wasn't completely jazzed about this. But I did reach out and say, hey, do you have any more images or pictures or video or something that I can show? And they did send me a few videos.
Very good thing for all
Sound.
the OCDs here. The OSD setting, the LCDs.
You can see that's a 11-inch monitor, I believe. 10-inch monitor.
Going down.
You've got a lot of settings on the monitor, which is it's good, and they're all right there. Mimicking the style or any traditional monitors, high-end CRT, or LCD. And then here's another shorter video, really short video. Check this out. And it looks like they're rocking some Dreamcast, I think. Split screen Dreamcast action. Let's play it again. Kind of see that. And so, it's kind of cool. It's something different. We were talking about on Super Game Room Dudes. Is this going to be something that you're going to like? It's not going to take the place of your CRT and your retro gaming setup like I have off to the side here on Megadesk. I've got a CRT up here, and it's like a 27-inch. I'm not going to get rid of that for this 11-inch or 10-inch monitor. More details about this. If you go to the website, you can see that you're going to have a lot of support. You're going to have composite, which is really good. Composite and component. Yeah, looking at both of them. So you've got the old original cables for your old consoles that you can use. You're obviously going to have VGA. You're going to have HDMI. So there's a lot of versatility with this. USB. I don't know if you're going to be able to plug in media for that. So just like images and files, so that could be kind of interesting. But for me, the size is an issue, Ladies, you know what I'm talking about, right? Different colors are also available. You're going to have red and white, the cream white, which is definitely more of the retro. I mean, that's got to be the number one choice for people. Like that off-white color is exactly what the colors were back in the day. Maybe black. I don't know if you ever saw red. I mean, maybe that was a Japanese thing. I have no idea. That looks kind of like the first Famicom, I guess. But yeah, the cream white of the three colors, I think that's the best way to go. But the studio gray is kind of cool too. Studio gray or black, I guess. And then what is the price? Can you buy them now? No, but there's going to be a Kickstarter launching soon. If you go over to the Unico / or just UnicoUSA.com, you can sign up to be you can join the wait list for their Kickstarter. Don't have a link for that as of yet. But you got to ask yourself, why? Like what's the point of this? Now it's a little bitty monitor, so it's kind of cool. Think of like the PS1 when they had that the LCD screen you could put on it. They came out for the PS2. Sony didn't make one officially, but there were add-ons for different companies that So I kind of get that portability concept. But this was also back in the day before handhelds were kind of all the rage and kind of the norm. And with Ambernic devices out there, if you want portability, that's what you're probably going to go with. I don't know. You got to help me with this. You got to help me. You got to let me know where you're at. Are you excited about this? Is this something that you want to get your hands on? If it's a couple $100, if it's $199, I mean, yeah, probably it would be kind of cool to have it on a shelf or on a desk, and maybe put your PS1 in there or something, or your Super Nintendo or something. If you don't really have that, if it's a console you don't play all the time, you want to put it inside this little TV housing thing. I think that could be kind of a cool thing. Yeah, we got to know here. They should do an arcade auxiliary monitors, aka just CGA. Yes, like the Midway put out. I agree. They have the monitors that they put out now. Don't take the straight. You have to have a converter. Well, not a converter, but like a wiring harness adapter to plug into their board. And it's supposed to take the native signals directly from your arcade board. But those arcade boards, they put out different resolutions, so it's not always one for one. The mid-res boards seem to do pretty good. Anything with a VGA connector, like my Crazy Taxi, man, that thing plugged right in the back, and that thing was awesome. The colors look great. It was just no setup or anything. It was awesome. Just kind of depends on the input that you have. If you wish to join, if you want to join the mailing list, thank you, Jason, for putting that up there. That's awesome. Appreciate that. And I also appreciate the $5 super chat from Chris Ford. I seen Orchid. Thank you again, please. I can't wait. CRT Life. Thank you so much for your $5 super chat. And listen, I am here to give the people what they asked for. And I think we've got Michael B kind of putting a point on it. I think anybody is interested in anything, but what's the price, right? I think a lot of that comes down to there's some things you just freak out about, you got to have. Like, I don't care unless this thing is just like $1 million, I'm not going to buy it. But when it comes to something like this, it's kind of one of those things like, okay, how much are we talking here? Like, what's the price point? I mean, this is going to be, it's just like thermal formed, like it's injection molding. Like, I mean, how did they make this shell? There has to be some reinforcement, just to support all the little PCBs for all the inputs and outputs and the volume controls and the buttons and everything. So there's a lot going on with this little shell. Some of the early conversations that I was having with Unico, we were talking about their arcade monitors, and the question was, well, okay, beyond arcade replacements, what could we use this for? And I said, well, come up with some kind of a shell and you could just have it as your TV. Like your retro gaming setup could have a flat monitor, but put it in a shell that kind of mimics the old style TVs from back in the day. And they decided to go with this, which is just weird because of the size. I think the size is that's going to be a limiting factor. I don't think this is going to be cheap. I think it's probably going to be $299. I mean, $300. So let's pretend like it's $300. Is anybody going to be interested in this for $300? I mean, I don't know. It seems like a super niche thing. I'm not going to really play a lot of a 10-inch screen. I mean, what are you gonna do with that? If it's sitting on your desk, I guess. But this is meant to mimic the things that all these flat screen monitors replaced, right? Deep, wide boxes. It's going to take up a lot of space on your desk. So I don't know. Other than the fact that it looks cool and it's a neat way to kind of utilize the LCD technology and all that. Really good inverter boards or just converter boards or the PCBs with good circuitry that are going to handle any kind of input signal and present that in clean, crisp clarity, the way that it should be, proper aspect ratio, which this is 4:3, I think is appreciated. It is going to come down to the scale of this. I think that this would have been a much better way to showcase their 19-inch monitors or their 26-inch monitors. I mean, instead of fighting with your old CRT, it's one of those things like it works until it doesn't. Or you try to go find one and you can pick them up for cheap, but they're heavy. It would be nice if they could showcase their 26-inch monitors in this same sort of style or form factor. That I would be more excited about that. Yes, it would be expensive. You're talking about a monitor that's $300 by itself, and maybe that's why they didn't try to do this with that higher, that bigger monitor. Perhaps, I don't know, but for me, it is going to come down to the size. When you're talking about displays, what's an appropriate size for this to actually game on? Like, you can't put this on your entertainment center and sit back. It's a 10-inch monitor. You can't see anything. So it would need to be at least about 19 inches, right? At least a Phoenix 19-inch monitor would have been the better way to go. Sitting here looking at the Raiden, I've got it on right now, 19-inch screen. Yeah, and I'm pretty far back. I would be sitting closer to that if I was gaming on it. So when it comes to the uses for this, that's where I struggle with this. Looks cool, fine, neat new, product out there. That's cool. But I just question why. Why this? Why now? When I think a lot of you are kind of like me and you're wondering, hey, where's Raiden Nova Blast? But more importantly, where's the big series? Questions that need answers. We'll get them eventually, I think. I hope so. I want to talk about something else that came out. I'm on a lot of mailing lists, like many of you are, a lot of arcade mailing lists, products and things that are out there. Okay, here we go. A dedicated monitor, talking about the last topic, a dedicated monitor for running 24 hours of MTV videos on it would be nice for the game room mood too. Highlight that comment because you make a good point. I've got two little 4:3 LCD monitors. These are circa 2005 or whatever, up in the corners of my arcade. And for that same purpose, right? I wanted that 4:3. I do have some old footage that I bought old VHS tapes, put them on a USB thumb drive, put it into a DVD player that had a USB input. And that's how I play my videos. And it's that ambiance. It would be kind of cool to have a shelf and have a TV up there. But my little monitors are 15-inch monitors, which is small, but still hanging them on the wall up in the corner, 15 inches. Okay. It's kind of a small arcade. I don't have a massive arcade. So you can still see them. You get the vibe. 10-inch, a little too small. But I like where your head's at. I do. I like where your head's at. That would make a lot of sense. Having on a shelf, just playing old footage, I see that. Yeah, I'll stick with my 27-inch CRT. I got a badass Toshiba right here. It's a flat tube TV. So got the built-in DVD player, got the built-in VCR. The VCR is touch and go for sure. My 13-inch Sony Trinitron CRT is mostly used when I work on video game consoles for testing. I wonder if this could maybe replace that. Maybe that's another way you could have this thing set up on a test bench if you're working on other consoles, perhaps. 8-inch screen is more like an arcade topper. I tend to agree with you. Splash that bike? Hell yeah. Splash that bike. Sounds good. Let's move on to something else. So, Game Room Masters is a company that's come out with a lot of kits. I bought stuff from them way years ago. 2008, 2009. Bought one of my first assembled kits, back when I was trying to figure out the best way to get back into the full-size arcade market or hobby. I had a couple full-size arcades and, all my kids were at home and it was just different times. So I had to get rid of those, but I still wanted to, I wanted to scratch the itch. And did I say it wrong? Rec Room Masters? Did I say it wrong? Hope I didn't say it wrong. Because I got a slide right here to help me out. So I bought one of theirs way back in the day. And I liked the kit, but it didn't look right. It didn't look right, but it is what it is, But this was interesting, and I'm glad I got Patrick here. The email was a lovely thing to see this weekend. Check this out. So just go with me on this. So this is the email that I received. Anybody on their mailing list got this email as well. This is a new 32-inch vertical form factor. Now, what you're looking at is a shape that, believe it or not, is better than, I'm going to say, the majority of their shapes. They seem to be a little bit off. All their cabinets, they're cool kits, but they're just a little bit too wonky. The proportions aren't quite there. This is a little bit different. Now, what you're looking at is a 32-inch TV that you would have to add to this kit. But, it's gonna include the lit marquee as part of the 32-inch. I know. Bear with me. We have some that say it's fugly, some that say they really like it. I think this is going to be one of those things where it's kind of like it's so on the edge. It's going to go either way. People are going to like it. People are going to hate it. But there's something to be said about this. We've seen the other marquees that would change with the game, and a lot of software has to go in to that to make that happen. And you're buying two separate devices, right? This is one 32-inch monitor turned vertical, and look at what you got. Now I would love to see. I'd love to tape off, get the vertical on the actual screen itself of the game you would be playing. But if you're talking about this in this mode, but this is also designed to play pinball, obviously, which is also kind of weird, being in that vertical position, playing pinball like that. Everybody wants that to be sort of down. There's an add-on we're going to talk about in just a second that kind of adds more to this. And I really got to get your feedback on that because I don't mind this. I kind of like this shape and everything. But this is this is a bridge too far. Hey, listen, burnt orange. If you thought that was a hot mess, look at this. I mean, this is damn. Yeah, the add-on is absolutely, shitballs. This is crazy. So the whole thing here, this you buy, you got to bring your monitor to the game, right? You can, for $250, you can add this weird topper that simulates this stacked pinball experience. So you have a 7-inch DMD, which is included in this, and a 13-inch back glass. Those two monitors are included in this, but this sits on top. Very odd. Very, very odd. You're looking at it, you're like, I don't know how to feel about this. This is weird. I saw this, I'm like, what in the hell? What in the holy hell? What are we looking at here? This, I think, is where they just kind of lost me. This is weird. So usually with pinball, obviously the main play field is down. You're looking down and you glance up, real quick to kind of look at the back glass or whatever, the DMD most likely. This is weird. This is some wild stuff right here, guys. You're gonna be looking at the play field in front of you, and you got to look even higher to check the DMD. This is this is kind of nuts. This is kind of crazy. This I got to tell you, this I don't hate. Now you're looking at this optimized in this orientation for for vertical games, but you can also, as you can see, you can play horizontal games. But the vertical shmups, me being a sucker for vertical shmups, I think that's where my head kind of goes to. And the shape overall, I like because it looks similar to what we've seen with some of the three-quarter stuff. I mean, you're getting that basic kind of midway shape, but then obviously the marquee doesn't jut out because there's no marquee. It's just a monitor. So I like this departure. I like that this is definitely a little different, but I think this actually could fit in really well in a home arcade setup. Bland as can be. I know, I get it. Maybe that's what you want. The artwork, they don't offer any right now. They're not going to offer a bunch of side art options that may come later. You can just get black, blue, or red for the art that you see right now on the control panel. That's really about it. Now, the pricing of this is always going to be something, because you got to remember, you're not getting a fully assembled, ready to go machine out of the box. You can add things here and there, but you're not going to have a monitor with this. This kit, which you can pre-order now, and it's going to ship in October, you're starting at $880 just for what you see there, minus the monitor. So you're going to have to add a monitor, and then you're going to have to add, obviously, your game system, your PC, your whatever, your Raspberry Pi to this to make this work. And then, of course, when you start getting into the add-ons, $250 for the topper. Now you're talking about, you're well above $1,000. Now you're in, shipping has to come into play too. Depending on where you are, they're going to charge you for shipping. So it's something I wanted everybody just to be aware that it's out there, because $880 north of $1,000. Well, I mean, I spent over $1,000 on my basic fun cabinet to mod it with the buy stuff kit. And then I added the deck protector and all that. And I'm talking about full artwork package and everything. So the conversation has always been about, that price point, where we at the price point. Once you go beyond a certain price point, once you're in the $1,000 price range, you can get there with the arcade one-up, basic fun. You can get there with a lot of different things. So when it comes to this, if you want a truly, like, a builder experience where you have a very, very solid platform from which to build something, if you want to slap a PC in there, if you want a dedicated stand-up vertical cabinet, this might not be a bad option for you, even though there is some sticker shock there, believe me. For those of us out there that like to build things, to put things together, and a company like, Rec Room Masters is pretty awesome. They're pretty awesome. They make really, really good stuff. But of course, that really, really good stuff usually has a really big price tag. Price tags. Talking about price tags, moving into the next topic before we go. Let's see if we can't look at a few comments here. The price always goes down. It does always go down. Initially, like arcade one-ups, right? Initial wave comes out, higher price tags, and then eventually that stuff comes down. Once the demand is there, once they start cranking out some of these kits, you'll see the Rec Room Masters kind of come down a little bit here. But wait for a sale, I think, if you want something. If this is something you're looking for, if you love the form factor, if you love the idea of having, your marquee sort of built into the whole monitor, it's something to consider. Something to consider. I wanted to bring it to your attention regardless. It was only available for a short time period before the first owner. I remember they went out of business. Love the vertical cab. Never thought they would bring it back. And that's the thing. Vertical cabs, man, if you can set up that orientation correct, you can really take advantage of a 32 inches. You're gonna take advantage of the entire playfield or the entire monitor when you throw that thing vertical. It's gonna be super, super interesting. And they do say, though, estimated ship date, pre-order. I'm trying to read because I have old eyes. Don't miss out on this limited edition launch. Okay, so secure yours today. Limited edition. What does that mean? I don't know if it's ever coming back. Maybe it's just a limited run and they're not going to bring it back. Maybe if the demand is there, they'll incorporate that into their catalog, I guess. So could be something that maybe is time sensitive. So check into it. see what you think. But if the price point is not where you want it to be, don't buy it. Speaking of price points not being where we want them to be, or maybe being where we want them to be, let's talk about Sonic, everybody's favorite cabinet. We all love it. We're all excited for it. Everybody loves it. New details were revealed. Well, I say new details. Everything that we thought about it is absolutely confirmed. So, games list. We do have a new logo. RK1 Up Supreme. Finally, XL is gone. I'm not mad at that. I don't mind. Supreme is probably a better way to say it and phrase it. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with Supreme. That's fine. Supreme and Deluxe makes sense. It's like a burrito. Do you want the Deluxe burrito or do you want the Supreme? Oh, I want the Supreme. Unless there's Sonic. Don't put any Sonic on my burrito. Well, that's what they've done here. Sonic is now on your burrito. And it's not going to go down well. No matter how many margaritas you drink, it's just not going to happen. Just not going to happen. Oh, wow. Your poll doesn't have a price low enough for me to buy it. Well, there is always the I won't buy it at any price. If it's less than $350, okay, I see where you're at. I agree. No, I think you're right. I think the naming convention is better. The games list is exactly what we thought it was going to be, what we've said before, and it's pretty much garbage. I mean, except for Sonic 1 and 2, which are solid games, never meant to be played, obviously, on an arcade machine. But here it is in all of its glory, we'll say. Moving on, we're going to talk about some of the great things that are included with this. This is phenomenal. This is amazing. With this, you're going to get the 19-inch monitor. Always good to have a monitor. So when you have a monitor, you can see the game that you're playing. Very useful. Very useful. You're also going to be included. They're going to include joystick. Now the picture shows 2 joysticks, but they just say joystick. So I don't know if maybe the render is incorrect. Maybe you're going to have to. Maybe there's an option to buy the second joystick, and then it becomes joysticks. But anyway, one of the features is joystick. So that's always good. Speaker grills, once again, noting that you will have 2 speakers that would necessitate grills, which adds to the confusion of why joystick is just there. So this could be, this render could be out of date. It possibly breaking now. This is a 1-player cabinet because it only comes with a joystick. But 2 players. Well, there's so 2 players are going to be fighting over joystick, or maybe this is going to include 2 human beings. Listen, we understand that that's wrong, and you shouldn't do that. People are not for sale. Light up marquee is going to be included. Light up buttons, so 1 joystick but multiple light up buttons, and then the faux coin door. I always think that if you're going to light anything up, don't light up the damn buttons. Light up your coin door. Light that up. Don't light. I know it's the emeralds and it's Sonic and blah blah blah. That made more sense on the Marvel Superheroes cabinet. Okay, when we were talking about Infinity Stones and gems and all that. But for this, if you're gonna light anything up, just light up the coin doors, the coin reject return buttons. Just light those up. Don't light up the buttons. But they did, so that's fine. So you're gonna get joystick, and you're gonna get 2 human beings. Hopefully they're nice, and hopefully they don't eat a lot. Because we don't have the room space for that. So consider you're going to have at least 2 extra spare bedrooms if you buy this cabinet because of 2 people showing up at your house fighting over joystick. Price is $599. Price is $599, which is, I guess, better than what I thought. I thought that $699 was going to be sort of the standard pricing for the Supreme cabinets, and maybe, just maybe, Sonic is going to be exception and not the rule, and you're going to have a price point of $599 only for Sonic, but the other cabinets, the other Supremes coming out, are actually going to be $699. I don't really know. I don't know how this math is going to work out, because the 4-player WrestleFest was a Supreme, and it was $649, and this is $599, but it's 2-player. I don't know, maybe the 4-player or 2-player, that's the differentiating factor. I don't really know. But, it sort of, at this point, it kind of is what it is. So $599 for a cabinet that contains no arcade games. An arcade cabinet with no arcade games, it only has 1 joystick, but it's going to come with 2 people. So that's, I mean, if you want a friend or maybe 2 people to help you assemble the cabinet, that's going to be really helpful. So I'm interested to learn more about the 2 people and why we only have 1 joystick. So that's yeah, obviously, I'm going to put those 2 humans to work. So see, consider that in the price of the cabinet. The 2 people will help you pay off the cab. You could charge charge labor, whatever. Like I said, I just hope they're nice, hope they're good, hope they're gamers. But then you're gonna have 3 people fighting over joystick. Very difficult. 19K Fox. If you wanted to slap a PC or Pi into the Sonic cab, you need a different encoder board for the buttons and joysticks, right? And that encoder would need an adapter to talk to the monitor. The problem with the encoders on your control panels for these arcade one-ups is that they do everything. It's not just the controls themselves, it's the power, it's everything else. So you would need encoders. So you could use some of the board that's there. So the power and the volume that's gonna control the PCB, right? All that communicates to the PCB on the back of the monitor, the PCB that has the game and everything. The encoder and that they're kind of like a pair. If you remove the PCB, you really can't use anything on the encoder at all. You're really going to have to trash everything. Get the Pi. You're also going to have to get the board on the back of your BOE monitor to give you an HDMI input, because remember, you don't have that. It's just an LVDS connection. That's it. It needs some kind of board to plug into to give you HDMI and all that. So if you want to make this, a custom cabinet with all the, you're going to spend a lot of money. There's a lot going on. That's why the Buy Stuff kit is actually a really good deal, because you're going to have to go through a lot just to get this thing ready to receive a PC or a Pi or whatever. Because you got to, like I said, you got to add the HDMI input to the monitor, which requires a board and some kind of a mount or sticky tape or something. Encoders, separate encoders just for the controllers, which is going to be, you're going to have to break those out to USB to go into your Pi or whatever. That's fine. But then you still have the on-off issue, the power. It ends up it may just be a button on the back of the cab, or something. You're gonna have to kill all the power to everything. But if you're gonna use a Pi, you gotta have a separate power for the Pi. So it gets really complicated. So if you're gonna buy this to mod it, you got to think about the options that are already out there. Now, Buy Stuff is gonna have a kit, which I'm sure they will, and if that's gonna be a couple $100, that may be the way to go, because they're going to include a new board for the back of the monitor. They're going to include all the adapters and harness wires and things you're going to need. So for a couple $100, $300, let's say, all the work's been done for you, and you just plug everything in. To do this yourself, you're right. You're going to have to get encoders just for the controls. You're going to have to come up with your own volume control knob, your amp, and then the power on-off switch. And there's a lot to do there. So I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna mod it. Don't be too flippant with that. You got to understand the work that's involved just to get it ready to receive whatever you're going to put in. So that's where I say, if you're starting with a cabinet with black T molding and maybe the side art that you like, that's the best way to go. You'll save yourself a crap ton of money, because remember, even if you do all that with the encoders and the HDMI output, for your monitor and all this stuff and the on-off and a separate amp for your speakers and a volume control and all that, you're still going to have a cabinet with Sonic side art on it. So unless you really like that side art and you love yellow T molding, you got to think about all this stuff. WrestleFest was great because it had black T molding. That's one thing that just goes with everything. So look at the T molding color. Look at the side art. Can you live with it? Is it going to match the game that you like, or is it going to match a game that you're going to have on your custom games list? Are you okay with the marquee? Think about all that stuff. You have to really calculate everything to do a complete renovation, restore, completely change everything on the WrestleFest cabinet and get the Buy Stuff kit. You're going to spend $1,100, depending on what the price of the cabinet is at the time. At the lowest point, you could have come in just under $1,000, but you're going to spend $1,000. That's with the kit. That's with all the artwork that has to be changed and everything else. But if you can save yourself some money, start with a cabinet that you like. It's one thing to get like an X-Men recreation. Let's say Comic-Con, they come out with X-Men, 4-player X-Men. It's Supreme, and it's going to be just the same shape and everything as the WrestleFest cabinet, but it's got X-Men on it. Well, you like X-Men, but you want to mod it. You don't want just to have X-Men on there. That game's just kind of sucks besides X-Men. So throw a Buy Stuff kit in there, but the artwork is fine. So all you have is just the cost of the Buy Stuff mod, and you're good to go. You got to think about all this stuff. Think about your entire project, or just paint the whole thing black. IPAC encoder, best in class encoder, switch between direct input, X input, and keyboard modes. Allows for the most compatibility across supported devices. Works with Mac, PC, Raspberry Pi, etc. A lot to consider, but yeah, I mean, you can't There's not a lot you can salvage on an arcade one-up besides the monitor and I guess the controls, but they're going to require, an encoder. And if you're going to get an encoder, well, I really want to upgrade the sticks and buttons because they kind of suck. They do. They're garbage. They're really bad. I mean, that's exactly what I do. As soon as I get an arcade one-up or basic fun, I swap all that out just because it's a really bad, it's not a good experience. And especially with how far they've come as far as the years that they've been making these, at this point, I would expect better buttons at least. The sticks, they're pretty much the same. Lame? Yes. And I think that's where we're at. That's where I'm at when it comes to this particular arcade one-up is, listen, I'm happy to get two people included in the price, which is great. I mean, I got to feed them, but it's nice to have two people. Joystick is disappointing, but overall, I just, the cab just doesn't do it for me at all. I don't like the yellow T molding. The two-player deck is like, it doesn't even extend out beyond the front of the cabinet. So it just seems very slab-sided and plain. It kind of, when you look at it right now, it looks like something's missing. The control panel should be on top and should be a little bit deeper. It should stick out a little bit, but because they just went straight up, even with the WrestleFest, well, I guess they did it with the WrestleFest, but the control panel sits on it and it's wider and it juts out further than the sides. So it just looks kind of like something's missing there. So I'm not really digging the shape. I wish that there was a good control panel you could reuse, but this is just sort of weird how just flat the front is. And then you're stuck with that side art, which, if you watch my video about Metamorphic Force and changing that over, it's a son of a gun to try to get that side art off, guys. It's rough. And, so if you want a Sonic themed cab, if you're going to put a bunch of Sonic games on it, you're going to include the arcade games or whatever. That would make sense to me. But beyond that, you got to figure the yellow T molding, which is kind of tough to change, you got to figure the side art. I mean, that marquee, I like the colors. It looks good, but that's for Sonic only. There's nothing else there. You're going to have to change that. So I just, for me, I don't see it with the price point. Even if for me personally, if this thing was $300, it's in Sam's Club, let's say, and it's $299, I'm not going to buy it. When you consider all the money you'd have to put into it, it'd be another $1,000 cab. I've already done that. I'm good. I think I'm good. You've got to decide for yourself if if this is something you don't love or even like. At the end of the day, I mean, with the costs associated with turning this into something else, why bother? The last topic tonight, guys, is something I am really excited about. I'm very excited about it, and it's we got to give all credit where credit is due. And Gaming Menace has pried this out of the hands of Evercade. They announced, he asked the question at Too Many Games. There was a Q&A session. Evercade had a little presentation that they did, and they had a Q&A back and forth. And Brooklyn Menace / Gaming Menace was there, and he asked the question: home arcades, we want 3/4 scale. Are you going to make it? And they said, yes, it's coming. Now, if you want to see the actual interaction, if you want to hear the question, if you want to hear the actual answer, which was actually pretty in depth, like he didn't just sort of say, yeah, oh yeah. It was like, here's where we're at, here's what we're thinking moving forward, and it didn't really give a timetable. Didn't make me think it was going to happen maybe this year, but I mean, this could be something potentially that could happen at the beginning of next year. I don't know, but if you want to see that whole interaction, look at the pinned comment in the live chat right now. Go on over to Gaming Menace's channel and check it out. The video was the entire presentation, but if you're looking for his question and the answer, the timestamp is going to be 28 minutes and 50 seconds. That's what you want to do. 28 minutes, 50 seconds. And that's where you're going to find the answer to his question. And it's very exciting for many, many reasons. If you're an Evercade fan at all, you've got some of these laying around. I've got 5 Super Pockets. I had the Evercade. What was it called? The EVS ESP, the 123. I got rid of that. I didn't really like it, because I'm really excited about the Nexus coming out. That looks great. 5-inch big display. It's exciting. I did go through kind of a cleansing period, and I sold all of my console Evercade cartridges, but I kept all my arcade cartridges because it's a good way to kind of have these things in some kind of a physical form factor, a physical media. And these things are pretty cool. And I've got I think 14 of these. I did have the alpha. I got the deluxe. I loved it. It was cool, but it was a countercade size, and I did actually sell it. So now I'm down to just my super pockets and these cartridges. And I'm waiting for them to do this because you will have a built-in library. I think they're up to 700 games. Those are not all arcade games. 700 games that you can just slap into this thing, this device, whatever it may be. Where are you going, buddy? Stay. We love you. We miss you, console kits. I'm stoked for a 3/4 scale Evercade. Abso-freaking-lutely. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And Brooklyn also saw the Nexus. So go check out that video after this video, guys. And there's a lot of good stuff in there. The Nexus does look good. It looks really good. He saw it in action. It looks like a nice, slick device. Definitely kind of upscale, dual analog sticks, all that. But think about it. We've been talking about this since the beginning of Arcade 1-Up and this whole hobby, right? The ability to add games, download games, what's going to work, the form factor. I don't know. Is this right? Is that right? I don't know. This is them tackling that very same question. And the answer he gives is great. He talks about all the different options and ways that they could do this, pre-packaged, flat packed. I mean, all this stuff, getting the arcade shape right. I mean, there's a lot that you can tell they're thinking about this and they're already working on this. They're asking all the questions. This is in development. So Brooklyn Menace absolutely broke the story and killed it. And I am so excited about this. The majority of my arcade is full of full-size arcades, sure. Is this something that I would buy, a 3/4 scale that will accept cartridges? If they follow the same design language with their alpha, which was a very nice little countercade. Basically, they took what Arcade 1-Up did and they just took it up a notch. So so when they enter the market in a new segment, they don't half-ass it. They go hardcore. I mean, that thing is nice. I mean, I actually sold all my countercades except for one, which is a shame, but I just don't have the room for them. But in my opinion, it was the best one out there because of the design, because of the included Sanwa joysticks with the deluxe version that I got, the swappable marquees, but the fact that, I mean, right off the bat, there's included games, but you just throw in a cartridge and you're playing whatever you want. It was so awesome. So if they can nail some kind of arcade shape, and that's going to be, I think, their biggest challenge, maybe because of all the Neo Geo cartridges that they come. Now we have 4 arcade Neo Geo cartridges. Maybe they've been waiting for that. Maybe they've been waiting for this to introduce that big red form factor. Maybe they didn't want to do it on the little one. Oh, yeah, there he is. He's back. Okay, good. Don't do that. We're all scared. We're all very afraid. We were worried if you were going to be one of the 2 included people in the Sonic cabinet and they abduct you. They took you. But I'm glad to know that you're not, because I don't want to share my console kits with nobody. But I think it'll be so cool if they can nail the shape, very arcade authentic, right? And then give us that ability to have the cartridges. And Brooklyn Menace even talked in his question. He brought up a design feature, something that I incorporated way back when I did my Sega Genesis cabinet, and that's a shelf where the coin door is for your actual cartridges themselves. So this becomes a storage device for your game boxes that the cartridges come in. So it's really cool. I'm very excited about this. I think that it would be, especially if they can give us a shape that we have not seen from Arcade 1-Up or anybody else. That would be incredible. Oh, and yes, it's in my behind the scenes from Arcade 1 presentation too. Check that out. But the regular presentation, 28 minutes and 50 seconds. You see the answer to the question, and then in the behind the scenes, you see the Nexus too. So it's pretty cool. 3/4 scale Big Red with 4 cartridge slots would be awesome. Oh, see, now you're talking. So an MVS 4 slot. recreate the four. So instead of just two slots like the Versus cabinet or the Versus console that you plug into your TV, a a four slot. That's a great idea. Sega, I love that idea. A legit four cartridge slot arcade cabinet based on an actual four slot arcade cabinet. Oh my God. You just blew my mind. You just blew my mind. You could actually slot these things in. And it may, they can't, I know they won't do it, but if they could just do the marquee like I have on mine that will illuminate four different mini marquees based on whatever game you got to, if they could, if there was some kind of, if it was just basically just do the Neo Geo Big Red and you've got four cartridges out, just do little mini marquees built in of those four cartridges and have the light cycle through. It'll be just an LED. That should be no big deal. I would buy that instantly. I would buy, I don't, I, it's, I, I'd find a place for it. I would find a place for it. Yeah, check it out. Absolutely check it out. MDF is cut for my, oh, there we go. There we go. Too damn hot. Yeah, take your time, buddy. Don't get out. Don't kill yourself out there. And you know what? If you're building it for yourself, take your time. Enjoy it. Have fun. Yes, we were all very worried. He could have been in the Sonic cab. Mm-hmm. You know this. You know this, man. And that would be interesting. To have the complete Genesis library ready to go, just to hack into this thing and just have it so you don't have to do anything. You just add the soft mod. If it is truly just a soft mod, that would be really nice. That would be cool. Now it becomes a Genesis cabinet, and now you're talking about something different. Now you're talking about something that would get me interested, perhaps. Not really. I'm not going to buy it, but it lowers the barrier of entry where you don't have to worry about reskinning and doing all the stuff. If you can soft mod this and the whole Genesis collection's on there, okay. Now the Sonic fans are going to lose their mind. If Arcade 1-Up was, well, I'm not going to say anything negative about Arcade 1-Up when it comes to this, because when it comes to Sega, they just take what they can get, because Sega is not just going to give it away. If you want Sega, you got to pay through the nose. So I think that Arcade 1-Up they just took what they could. They did the best that they could. They said, we'll take whatever. These four games, sure. We'll do something. We'll figure something out. That's what happened. Now, I'm not buying this at all, but I am very excited about what somebody, and I can't take credit for this name. Somebody else I saw it in the chat. But it's the Alpha was the small one, the countercade. The Omega would be the 3/4. That would be awesome. The beginning and the end. But that would imply the end, and maybe they're not going to stop at 3/4. I don't know. But it's interesting. Evercade Omega, perhaps. Put it on your calendars. Write it down. On this day, the Evercade Omega. It's interesting. It's a fun time. Just when we thought that home arcade was actually kind of dying, kind of on the way out, there are a ton of different options out there. A ton of stuff going on. We got Unico kind of coming out with something I can talk about as soon as I can get the artwork figured out. I can actually do a video for you. I can't wait to talk to you about that. Not all good. We'll talk about, let's save all that for another time. But we got that kind of stuff. We have Arcade 1-Up trying to come back into the fold. We got Rec Room Masters coming out with stuff that maybe that price point was a little bit lower. It would lower that barrier of entry and people could give that a shot. Evercade coming in. I don't think we can undersell this. I don't think that you have to give this, you have to really think about this. Could be an absolute game changer. One cabinet, hundreds of games. I mean, I'd have to do a count on all the arcade games that are in all these different cartridges. But I mean, if you want to slap in console games, 700 games spread amongst all those different cartridges, this absolutely changes the game, guys. You want those deep cuts? You want Activision on an Arcade 1-Up or an arcade machine, 3/4 scale? You can do that. Weird Data East titles. Visco is coming out. That's 2 more arcade cartridges. You can have it. I think yeah. Evercade Omega. Sounds great. Yeah, better. No, you don't never use beta. No. Beta has a negative connotation now. You don't want to do that. Never. You can't use beta. Maybe they use the Nexus name and do a play off that, the Nexus Arcade, perhaps. The good news is they're listening to what fans want. I love the way they have done this. Like I said, they I think I said this on Super Game Room Dudes. They kind of started in the reverse. They have this infrastructure built. They have this core. You have an established base now. You have an install base of so many. I don't even know how many people, right, have bought into this. Whether they just have a Super Pocket where they have a Versus plugging into the TV, the EXPR, EXPR, I think it's EXP. So many different ways to play their cartridges. And every time they add something new, you can take advantage of your entire library that you already own, and you physically get to do it. So I think it's awesome. I think it's a great idea. I think this is one of the most exciting things I think has happened to home arcade in a very long time. We have all wanted this, especially when they came out with the alpha. We were excited, but I think I'll speak for me. I thought it was a long shot, but the fact that we now have confirmation, yes, hashtag Evercade Omega. Now that we actually have confirmation that it's not like it's an idea. They're workshopping it now, and it is coming. It is coming. Fox, spill the beans. You can't talk about it yet, so you're saying a big red is possible. There's a lot of things out there that are possible. And a big red from Unico, it would be an absolute no-brainer. But I think that Evercade is poised. They've been calculating this, they've been going over this, they've made the investment in the Neo Geo license. I think, for me, Evercade will probably do it before Unico. Would you look at that?
What the hell?
Yo, the sign is real simple, B. It says wrap it up.
Okay, I'm unfortunately we gotta go. We gotta shut it down. I gotta shut it down. Why? Because I got an after show I gotta get to. Members, you're gonna be automatically redirected to the after show where we're gonna party. We're gonna talk about the stuff behind the scenes. We gotta see who's up for the next platinum hat. All very exciting. And I'm gonna have my second drink. But before we go, we got to talk about that poll question real quick, guys. 145 votes. You did a good job. Thank you, everybody who took the time to vote. Let's go ahead and shut this bad boy down right now in the poll. I got to take a picture so we can share it later with everybody else who wasn't able to make it. Eventually, it's going to come up. Come on. Come on. Come on. There you go. I knew you could do it, YouTube. Get on the ball, son. Let me just grab this real quick. Boom. And what do you think, guys? Where do you think it ended up? Well, if you saw it, did you know how it ended up? And it ended up exactly like you thought. What is this? 231. That's the show. Show 231 episodes. Thank you, everybody who's made this possible. So coming in last place, what is the most you would pay for the RKO 1-Up Sonic Supreme? Last place is actually the price they're advertising of $599. Only 12% are willing to pay $600 for this cabinet. Coming in third place with 17% is $499. So not looking good. So who took the number one spot? I think it's a no-brainer. My crowd, all you pessimistic people out there, I love every one of you. 52% say you would not buy at any price. 52%. So that means that less than 50% would actually buy this at a price point of $349 or higher. 19% said they'd buy it at $349. 17% said they would buy it at $499. So you've only got 12% of the people that are willing to pay your asking price. Everybody else is waiting for a sale. And if it comes to Sam's, I think that it can absolutely happen. Guys, thank you so much, everybody, for stopping by and checking out the channel and being here. Y'all have a great week. Don't work too hard. And I'll see all of you right back here next time. Peace.